A strange astronomical phenomenon has been attracting the attention of the whole world since the milestone of October 29th. That is C3I Atlas, an object believed to be a comet, but has a series of characteristics that have made scientists question. According to astronomers, C3I Atlas is an interstellar comet, meaning it does not belong to our solar system but comes from other distant planetary systems with an estimated mass of approximately 33 million tons and speeds up to 200 kilometers per hour. It is hurtling through space on an unusual trajectory, beyond any orbital pattern ever recorded by science. In every field of science, theoretical models have always been used to explain and predict natural phenomena. However, the C3I Atlas appears to be challenging the entire existing modeling system, forcing researchers to reconsider many hypotheses about the origin and journey of interstellar objects, discovered just a few months ago, possibly in July, by a state-of-the-art telescope located at Chile. This comet has become the focus of observation of astronomers, astronomy, cosmology, and astrophysics globally. What surprised them was that C3I Atlas do not follow conventional orbital parameters, and its response to the sun's gravity appears to be different from any other comet ever recorded. If further observations confirm that C3I Atlas is indeed an interstellar comet, this would be the third object in human history to visit the solar system from interstellar space, following two famous precedents. Oumuamua, 2072, Iberisov, 209. Each such discovery not only expands our understanding of the universe but also raises intriguing questions. Are there messengers from distant worlds quietly passing through our solar system, carrying the secrets of unknown matter and energy? Now let's approach this phenomenon from a more scientific perspective. The difference here is C3I Atlas is challenging all current astronomical models that have been considered the standard in explaining the motion and nature of comets. It is this that has attracted the attention of Professor Avi Loeb. Full name is Abraham Loeb, a famous Israeli astronomer currently teaching at Harvard University, is not only a member of National Academy of Sciences of the United States but also played a role White House science advisor, one of the most influential scholars in the field of space science today. According to Loeb, C3I Atlas could not be an ordinary comet. He believes that this object does not exhibit familiar physical properties of comets, such as being composed primarily of ice and cosmic dust. Instead, spectroscopic data suggests that it contains heavy metal elements such as nickel, something never seen in traditional comets. In addition, the tail of the C3I Atlas is facing the opposite direction, compared to the normal laws of physics, not pushed away from the sun like other comets, but seemingly moved by a separate mechanism, which cannot be explained by existing models. From these facts, Avi has come up with a bold hypothesis: C3I Atlas cannot a natural celestial body, which is a man-made object propelled by an unknown advanced technology, a form of interstellar device that could have been created by an extraterrestrial civilization. While this hypothesis is highly controversial, it opens up a heated debate in the global scientific community because the history of science has witnessed many initially crazy ideas that later become great turning points when people find the truth behind seemingly absurd things. Loeb likened that just like when the first submarine to reach the bottom of the ocean and found out unknown creatures, C3I Atlas could be strange creatures of the universe, a manifestation that humans have only just uncovered a very small part of the vast cosmic reality, and today a mystery may be revealed. Theresin is because C3I Atlas is passing behind the sun, making its observation especially important when an object moves behind the sun. Solar light and radiation can help telescopes detect unusual changes in spectrum or orbit. From there, clarify its true nature maybe. Today astronomers will get the first data to help determine whether C3I Atlas is a natural comet or a man-made object quietly passing through the solar system, carrying secrets never known to man. Professor Avi Loeb, a very famous scientist at Harvard University, has put forward a shocking hypothesis. If Comet C3I Atlas does not obey any known laws of orbit or physics, then it could be not a natural comet, which is an object propelled by artificial technology. This hypothesis has many people confused and controversial. Physicist Javier Santlayan, his video said that this idea is crazy. However, Avi Loeb is not an ordinary person who makes baseless speculations. He is a leading Harvard scholar, a former White House advisor, and a member of the National Academy of Sciences. So although the idea sounds bold, it is still something that the scientific community has to consider seriously. Loeb believes that C3I Atlas could be how the spacecraft is propelled by advanced technology. He even raised the possibility that it may be a hostile device, meaning it could be dangerous for Earth, of course. This is just a hypothesis. There is no real evidence. Scientists emphasize that in space research, it is necessary to clearly distinguish between hypotheses to be tested and proven scientific fact. Today, astronomers and astrophysicists are collaborating globally to tracking the orbit of C3I Atlas. They use telescopes and observation stations in many countries to collect data, analyze it, speed direction of flight and material composition. The goal is to determine whether this is really a natural comet or an alien object from another civilization. In science, every possibility is considered carefully. While Avi's hypothesis may be controversial, it reminds us that the universe still holds many mysteries. Observing and studying C3I Atlas not only helps us better understand interstellar space, but also demonstrates humanity's spirit of constant exploration of the unknown. After the appearance of C3I Atlas, all astronomical observation systems in the world from South Africa, Chile, Spain to the United States have coordinated to conduct an unprecedented global experiment. The goal is to train the ability of the observatories to cooperate in dealing with an object with an unusual orbit or one that poses a threat to Earth. This is a necessary preparation for humanity to be able to act quickly if one day a high-speed object in space really does head towards Earth. From then on, a great debate has broken out in the scientific community. The question is, are we facing a type of comet never seen before in the history of space observations? C3I Atlas is confusing scientists because of a strange feature. It has a countertail. That is, its tail does not extend backwards in the direction opposite to the sun as usual, but forward. Imagine a car with exhaust pipes that blow smoke forward instead of back, a phenomenon that completely contradicts the laws of physics known to man. According to information from the newspaper The Nation posted this morning, Professor Avi Loeb believes that this reverse tail phenomenon could be a form of control movement like an active navigational maneuver. He explained that the tail reversing and then returning to normal could be a sign of steering or trajectory adjustment, something that natural objects cannot do on their own. Spectral analysis reveals the anti-tail of C3I Atlas, mainly made up of carbon dioxide and water, mix a small amount of cyanide together. Exotic nickel alloy has never been found in nature outside of Earth. Avi states that such nickel only appears in human industrial production processes, but does not exist naturally in the universe. If Loeb's hypothesis is correct, then this object may be slowing down on purpose, turning its attention towards the Earth as if it were come near us on purpose. Although this hypothesis is still controversial, it has caused global scientific organizations to take immediate action. International Asteroid Warning Network, AWN, officially added C3I Atlas to the list of objects requiring special monitoring, opening the way for a global surveillance campaign. Currently, all major telescopes in the world are observing this phenomenon together. C3I Atlas is passing through a region of space behind the Sun, making observation extremely difficult. Scientists call this solar eclipse when the object temporarily disappears from human vision. But this very phase can reveal the most valuable data to determine its true nature. Scientists are holding their breath waiting for the results, because maybe when C3I Atlas reappears behind the Sun, humanity will know whether this is just a special comet or a technological messenger from another civilization. Professor Avi further strengthens his argument by stating that C3I Atlas may be performing a deliberate maneuver to change its orbit. According to him, the fact that this object moved behind the sun was not just a coincidence but could be an opportunity that it took to correct course. Therefore, astronomers around the world are keeping a close eye out, waiting to see whether C3I Atlas will maintain its original orbit after reappearing, or will show signs of deflection, which could prove that it is controlled by some mechanism, not natural movement. And these are not the words of an ordinary person speculating on science fiction. Avi Loeb, Harvard University's leading astronomer, chairman of the Committee on Astronomy of the National Academy of Sciences. At the same time, science advisor who worked with the White House, his comments, though controversial, still made the scientific community stop and listen. C3I Atlas is special not only because of its orbit, but because of the abnormal phenomenon recorded during the observation. First, it has reverse tail, a stream of gas and dust sprayed out facing the sun instead of the opposite as in normal comets. This phenomenon goes completely against the laws of solar radiation and makes it difficult for experts to explain. Monday. The chemical composition of the object is unlike any known comet. The data shows that it contains lots of pure nickel but almost no iron, while natural comets always have significant iron content. This imbalance, according to scientists, was never before recorded in nature. Third, telescopes have detected large amounts of water vapor at a distance from the sun where normally the ice would remain in a solid state due to the extremely low temperatures. This suggests that it may be possible there is an intrinsic thermogenic mechanism, or the object is made of a material that has a very high heat retention capacity, again making the artificial device hypothesis more plausible. An engineer named Benio, when asked for his opinion, sent a humorous response that perhaps the author was talking nonsense. However, he also admitted that the phenomenon hidden behind the sun, the moment when an object is blocked by sunlight and disappears from the view of telescopes, is absolutely real. This phenomenon is called solar occultation or eclipse thesin, and it was during this period that tracking the C3I Atlas's orbit became nearly impossible. Scientists are now waiting for the object to re-emerge from the shadow to collect the latest data because it is possible after passing behind the sun. C3I Atlas will reveal its true nature. Is it an unusual comet, or is it a sophisticated control device from somewhere outside the solar system? According to scientists, C3I Atlas is showing a series of strange features that make it one of the most unusual phenomena ever recorded in astronomical history. First of all, origin and lifespan. Based on spectroscopic measurements and orbital models, astronomers believe that C31 Atlas is about 10 billion years old, almost as old as the Milky Way itself. If this figure is confirmed, it would be the oldest comet ever observed, formed from the early universe when the first stars were just beginning to form. While the universe is estimated to be about 13.8 billion years old, the fact that an object that is 10 billion years old is still alive and moving in space is incredibly rare. About trajectory, C3I Atlas is on a special journey in October. It intersects the orbit of Mars at a distance of 30 million kilometers. And today, the day October 29th, is the moment it reaches perihelion, that is closest distance to the sun, around 210 million kilometers. When passing through this position, it lies behind the sun, completely hidden from the view of any telescope on Earth. This was a period when many scientists, including Avi Reeds, pay special attention. Is predicted to end of November. C3I Atlas will reappear in the sky seen in Virgo constellation and begin to move closer to Earth. Enter December 19th. It will reach its closest point to Earth before continuing leaving the solar system, sliding into deep space, and finally disappeared from the known universe. It was this chain of movements that made the Professor Avi Loeb suspect that this not a natural comet. He said that C3I Atlas may have deliberately taken advantage of its transit behind the sun to alter its orbit, and the possibility that it is heading towards Earth not entirely random. This hypothesis is of course controversial, but Loeb is not one to throw out baseless speculations. grandfather Avi reads to be one of the world's most influential astronomers, famous for his works on black hole dark energy and origin of the universe. He used to hold the position chairman of the Department of Astronomy at Harvard University. At the same time, member of the National Academy of Sciences of the United States and White House advisor Loeb, was the first to propose the shocking hypothesis that Oumuamua, the first interstellar object discovered in 2017, could be probes sent by extraterrestrial civilizations. That is why when Loeb expressed doubts that C3I Atlas may be an artificial device, the scientific community could not ignore. Although many people thought he was too bold, they still had to admit that the anomalies in the behavior, composition, and speed of the C3I Atlas are unprecedented. All eyes are now on the moment after perihelion when C3I Atlas leaves behind the Sun. That could be the time the truth is revealed. Is this an ancient relic of the universe or a messenger sent from a distant intelligence observing the Earth? Actually, the whole story about C3I Atlantis becoming a global phenomenon, not only in the scientific community but also spreading to the general public. Last night, this event kept the astronomy community around the world awake all night, observing, debating, and hypothesizing. Even non-astronomy experts were caught up in the wave of curiosity and amazement at what was happening. I've watched a lot of science videos about this phenomenon, partly out of curiosity, and partly because it's hard not to be drawn in. It's like listening to a story that has both science and mystery. The more I listen, the more I find myself walking the thin line between empirical science and unexplainable things. Professor Avi Loeb, who is at the center of the debate, believes that the discovery of C31 Atlas could change the way humanity sees itself. If he is correct, if this is indeed not an ordinary comet but objects controlled by some advanced technology, the consequences will be much more profound. It will change the way we understand extraterrestrial life, cosmology, religion, philosophy, and even human history. Of course, this possibility remains hypothetical. Loeb may be right or he may be wrong, and if he is wrong, he will probably be ridiculed, even severely criticized by academics. But it cannot be denied that thanks to his courage to ask questions, a global discussion has been opened. Thousands of scientists, experts, and astronomy enthusiasts are heatedly debating the possibility of the existence of alien technology. This story also connects us with Javier Santolaya, a Spanish physicist and science communicator. He was born in Burgos and is 43 years old, PhD in nuclear physics and applied science engineering, and a YouTube content creator with millions of followers. In his latest video about C3I Atlas, which attracted more than 500,000 views, Santa analyzes this phenomenon from a purely scientific perspective. While commenting on Loeb's bold hypothesis, he believes that although Loeb's idea may be a bit far-fetched, it still has value in that aroused curiosity and the spirit of scientific discovery. Something that many people are missing today. More interestingly, Santolaya also announced that he will to Buenos Aires in the near future, and we intend to find you interview him directly to hear more detailed views on this matter. I highly recommend you watch his videos. We will share the link on the channel because Santolaya has an easy-to-understand, lively, and humorous way of explaining things, helping viewers to entertainment, fit deep understanding of science. Maybe's I joke with Carritos. Listening Santa Claus explains the cosmic orbit of a mysterious object much more interesting than the evening shows on TV. While everything is still unknown, one thing is for sure. C3 Atlas has awakened global curiosity. Reminds us that in this vast universe, there are still so many things beyond human understanding, and sometimes it is the crazy questions that are the beginning of a great discovery. If you want to follow this story as it unfolds, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications for this channel. I will be making follow-up videos as new data becomes available, and as we learn more about other cosmic phenomena. Leave a comment below and let me know, what do you think we will learn about this interstellar visitor? Will it survive perihelion intact, or are we about to witness a fragmentation event? I read all the comments and I'm really curious what you think.